I'm Darwood. I'm a doctor working in the Department of Psychiatry and also interested in community gardens. Thank you very much for your talk. I was interested in lots of different aspects in it. One of the things that I found was very interesting was the idea that people are becoming dependent on supermarkets or food providers for knowledge about what they should and shouldn't eat. And it seems to me that that is a rather unfair influence for somebody that is going to be making a profit from something that is so essential to basically human life. And there's also parallels with a few other things, just control of knowledge in general. For example, the idea that somebody can make stewed fruit and stick some metamucil fibre in and some vitamin C and sell that as fortified food is absolutely ridiculous. It's not fortified food, it's junk food. And I would have thought that government has a role in stopping people who are basically charlatans. Well, I think one of the problems here may be that the transfer of knowledge to the public is mediated greatly by media, and I think that perhaps community gardens can be a way of bypassing that by connecting people who have specialist knowledge and academic knowledge directly with the population. And why has this situation come about? It must be that in democracy, as it is now, there's always multiple competing interests with various levels of power and influence. And as this is still a democracy, although a dysfunctional one, it may be that by people working together and gardens uniting them in some way, that will have an influence on the predominant policy of government.
Well, I would like to comment. I did skip about your first point about supermarkets. This is an area in which I am doing research, the impact of supermarkets on community health and well-being. We've got two big meta-reviews of the evidence so far, and although the supermarket actually makes accessible and affordable to many dietary diversity. I mean, it is at one level a healthy food provider. In the last 20 years, it has enabled families to eat fruit and vegetables and a range of them in a way that they wouldn't otherwise have done. But there is now two big studies which show that as they move in, they displace alternative food outlets, generally the small. And as a result, they contribute to undermining the access in a perverse way to healthy diets to marginalised or poorer populations. The way they do it is there is no shopkeeper to ask for information, ask information about the food. You can't control portion sizes as you can with your greengrocer or butcher so well, because it's all pre-packaged. You don't know the ingredients, except your very, very good point about what's on the label, and that's where so we're not getting it from a knowledgeable greengrocer, butcher. We're getting it from this panel, and as we all know, my God, what does RDI mean, and this mean, and portion size mean, and so it's very hard for us to control what's in that food. And then the supermarket does this other nifty little thing. It has 2-for-1 deals. Generally dreadfully unhealthy food. Sometimes, I mean, the rotisserie chicken is a classic in Australia. You get, on a Friday evening, 2 fatty chickens, but really cheap. And then just nearby are the aisles of sugar-laden drinks. So yes, if you are knowledgeable and keen, you just go to the fruit and veg aisles. If you're not and you're poorer, you are distracted by these 2-for-1 deals, you buy things that you buy more than you would otherwise buy, you don't actually know what's in there, and you go on a label that says, this is good for you. I'm certainly an advocate that governments have an extremely important role to regulate health claims. I actually don't think health claims should be on any food. I'm a bit persuaded that maybe you might have a calorie logo, but the rest, about where we get our nutritional knowledge from and our confidence has to come in different ways than the label. We used to have ways of doing it through home economics classes and our mothers teaching us things, and whether we can revive those old food ways, I don't know. But retail matters, retail formats matter for health. Retail planning, to the Wellington City Council people, is an absolutely key part of the mix here, alongside transport planning, land use planning, housing development planning. It matters for health.
That's a very good note to end on. And I think a consummately excellent presentation about linking together those co-benefits. So we hope that this is the first of a number of visits back to the University of Otago, Wellington. It's great to see our colleagues and a number of NGOs and a number of different government departments, and I think you've seen that there's a lot of enthusiasm and interest here today. So can you join with me in thanking I know there were lots of other questions. I'm going to suggest we just go across to, you're okay with that? You're going across just to the little cafe across the way to have lunch for those who would like to.